Hello everyone, how is everybody? So I'm here about 10 minutes earlier. If anybody has any questions or anything like that. So you can ask questions in the YouTube chat on the live stream, or you can ask questions in the CroCoder help ask CroCoder Slack channel. So I will wait for everybody to get on. I hope you're all doing well and that you're safe, and yeah. Hi guys. So there is a slight delay between the chat and the stream, so you know that I'm trying to read all your I will try to read all your questions, but it's a bit late. If you're not in the Slack channel, you can join here. Okay, so I hope that everybody had installed the Node.js and went through the setup that I posted a few days before. Um, if 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 someone hasn't, here's the link to the setup. It takes about 5 to 6 minutes, so it's I'll just wait like I will wait 6 p.m. so in 2 minutes we'll start everything, and I will start recording for later posting. Hi everyone that joined. So if you want to follow the presentation, you can access the presentation through the link on the Notion page. There is a link in general Slack channel. So we can start if everybody is here. You can go invite your friends or anybody that wants to learn coding or just listen to me rambling today. Okay. So hello everybody, welcome to the JavaScript Basic lecture. This is the first lecture of many. If you haven't visited our website yet, I can show you a screenshot of it at the moment. We are actually a team that helps companies to onboard and train their whole teams, and we are doing in-depth seminars or hideaways with lectures. So my name is David Abram, and I will I'm actually a mentor in CroCoder, and I do freelancing. So I do mostly backend, but I can do front end, and I'm really versed there. So let us first talk about a little bit about schedule. So we have a lot of future lectures here. So you can click the link here. I will hide myself a little bit. There is down here, it's there's a link you can click and you can see the schedule. The schedule will be updated regularly, so you can get updated and you can see what we will be doing in the next few weeks. So my plan is there will be 2 lectures, so Tuesday and Thursday, and on Saturdays there will be exercises. So we will go through everything that we've done on those 2 lectures during the week, and on the weekend there will be exercise. So the first weekend it's Easter here on Sunday, so on Tuesday we will have the exercise and we will skip that Saturday there. So what you see here, this is the schedule for April till the 2nd of May. We will go through mostly front-end stuff. I will explain it later. That's the JavaScript that runs in your browser, and you can use it to create websites or web apps and so on. We will go mostly through JavaScript and a little bit of HTML, although there will be a beginner CSS lecture that will Danica, the other mentor in CroCoder, will talk on this lecture. So today we'll going through some JavaScript basics. So I will go to a quick introduction so everybody is up to speed. What is JavaScript? What we will be doing in this lectures that follows, and also we will set up the project that we will work on and do in the future lectures also. Then I will go through running JavaScript, because JavaScript can be run in different environments, like in your terminal, so with node.js, or in your browser, and many more, but we'll mainly do those 2. And after that, we will start with JavaScript, with simpler things like how to define variables, how to use variables, what are the basic types of the variables in JavaScript. We'll do a little bit with booleans and if else. And in future lectures, we will go through the functions and how to use JavaScript in the browser. So the prerequisite for today was to install Node.js to use any IDE or any notepad-like or text editor, and have Git installed on your PC. So I'm running Linux here. I'm not running Windows, as probably most of you are using, but it's almost the same thing for installing it. So if somebody hasn't installed it yet, please, you can go to the environment setup link here and you can go through the list. It's about 5 minutes. So I will take about 30 minutes of lecture, then we will have a little pause, about 10 to 15 minutes, and you can ask all the questions and I'll answer all the questions there. Okay. So let's see. So if you have installed the node.js and you have tried to run in terminal, so have you? So does everybody has a terminal open or command prompt or something like that? So you need to have node. You can type node. Can everybody see this? Or it's too small? Just give me a thumbs up. So you can run node -v. You can get the version of node that's installed on your PC, and by running git, you will get like a quick help text file from Git, and those two must be installed so you can follow and program parallelly to mine. Okay. So after that, you will need to have installed some IDE or text editor. I have installed Visual Studio Code here. I will show everything through Visual Studio Code and through Google Chrome. So if somebody is using Firefox or some other IDE like Sublime or Atoms or anything like that, you can use it. Maybe it will be a little bit more confusing to explain everything to you and to get everything around, but don't worry, they are pretty much the same or similar at least. Okay, so today we will not be doing a lot of things in the terminal. I will set up for the next time. Okay. So okay, everybody seems is up to speed. Great. So let's talk a little bit about JavaScript. So JavaScript, JavaScript at the moment is the only language that can run in your browser. So and the only programming language. There are some indication there will be more programming languages that can be run in the browser in the future, but for now and in like next 5 to 10 years, JavaScript is like the only player in the town. So JavaScript can run in your browser, it can create dynamic changes to your website, so without needing to user reloading the page. So any like website or web app that does something automatically, like showing you the new news feed like Facebook, or like your I don't know, your news network like CNN that shows something like in front of you without you having input. That's all JavaScript. Also, JavaScript can run on your server or on your personal computer, and you can run different scripts there. You can read data from databases. You can serve the data to the front end, and everything that runs in browser, we call it the front end. So when you hear from a front end developer, that's a developer that does cool websites and web apps and creates scripting that creates like different UIs and different like data visualization and so on. On backend, so everything that runs on server or on your personal computer, like scripts, that's called like the backend code. So a backend developer is that creates different APIs and reads from databases and creates the different daemons. We'll go all through it in the future, so you don't have to worry about that at the moment. So I will show how to run JavaScript in the Chrome and JavaScript in the Node, so you can know what's the difference and how and how you can do it at home. So first, let's try and open like Google Chrome. This is just ordinary Chrome. It's a DuckDuckGo page. You can open any page like Google.com or anything like that. So on this page, you can click the inspect. So Control-Shift-I or F12 if you're on Windows, and it will open DevTools. They're called DevTools. They're for debugging and to see the origin of the page and so on. At the moment, the thing that interests us is the console. So let's try and open the console here, and let's try writing something here. Let's say 2 + 2. When you write 2 + 2 and you press enter, it says 4. So congratulations, you've done your first statement in JavaScript here. If you want to do simple like hello world, so programmers are really obsessed with the hello worlds in different programming languages, you can say console.log, open parentheses and hello world. This is much better, yeah. And press enter. So console log, all that does is like just says everything you've written in the parentheses back to you. So in this, it's console log. So what are we doing actually here? We are writing different like code statements here and running it in the website. I'm running it DuckDuckGo website. You can run on Google Chrome or whatever page you're on at the moment. So all code that happens here is actually happening on your local copy of the page that you're visiting. Just so you know. So if you change something here or you write any code, it will happen only on your local copy. So nobody else will see this code. If we are thinking about running like in your terminal or your node.js some code, you can go to your terminal and you can enter node. Let me try zoom this a little bit. Okay. Text. Okay. So you just write node and it will open some like interactive editor for node. And if you type like 2 + 2, the same thing that we written in the console of the web page, it says 4. Or if you say console.log parentheses hello, it says hello. So congratulations, you've written your first statements in Node. Okay, great. So let me get the second. Okay. So you can see here that we can write code here, but that's like if you press F5 in your browser, like all your code goes away. So we will need to write code in a file, save it, and then open it through browser, so we can see the changes and we can see everything that goes around there. So what we will need here, we will need to use our IDE, get us the project set up, and then we can make changes, and then we can do like different, we can like write our console logs there. So let me get to the getting the project part. So I will use my terminal to navigate to the folder, to download my, to use my git command, so git clone command to get the repository, and then I will open VS Code. You can do this without using terminal. You can go to the folder, then left click on it and open in command prompt if you're on Windows, or open in terminal if you're on Linux or Mac. So what we will do here, oops, I will click on the link. So this is our repository. It's hosted on GitHub. We will use later GitHub to host our own projects and deploy like little websites down there. So what I will do here is copy here in the drop down this part, or just copy from the presentation the command. I will go to my terminal. So if I press Ctrl+C 2 times, it will exit the node program. I'll clear it, and I will write down git. So first I will go to my repos folder. I will create a new folder called Lockdown Learning. Oops. And then I will write down git clone and the repository link. So great, we have downloaded our project here. So if you can see, like the git is cloning into a folder called Lockdown Learning. So if we test, oops, sorry for that. So you can see that there is a folder Lockdown Learning in here with everything that we need to start this. So you can go just on your VS Code or any IDE, and you can open the folder that you need. So it's a Lockdown Learning, yeah, here. So if you, so just say in the chat or somewhere if everything is okay, if you have opened it, so we can start looking what's all in the project here. In like 10 minutes, so we will take like questions, so everybody can ask me anything and I will answer. So no problem. So if somebody has listened to me, just download the Lockdown Learning through git clone on your PC. In the future, we will use some other git command, so we can get like new updates that I've made during the off screen, so you can get everything there. Okay. So let's start by looking like what's in our project here. Oh, okay, just a second. There is a slight delay here. Let me, okay. So Snack asked like, can I paste the command, like git clone command that downloaded all the files? Okay. So let's see what's all in our project. So I will increase the size of my font a little bit. So Rocco, it doesn't matter if you know what's Git or terminal at the moment. If you just try to open your command prompt or something, we'll go in the depth, like what's Git and how to use Git in the future. And also we will talk about terminal. Yeah, you can. So Philip, yeah, you can do everything on Windows terminal or command prompt, or there is like a lot more like different terminal-like programs that can use. So if you're in Windows and you want to create a new directory, let me just Google it because I don't know it by heart. I'm a Linux user through and through. Like make dir is, yeah, I'm not, yeah, it's make dir, it's still make dir. So it's not in the command prompt. Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. So okay. So let us see what's in the project that we get with git clone command. So we have a folder called JavaScript Basics. So every lecture will have their own folder in there. So, and there are two files in there called index.html and script.js. If you open the index.html, you will see some HTML code. Will go in depth in like in the next lecture, like what is this and what and how it works. And you can file a script.js file. If you open the script.js file, you can write here like similar things that we've written in that we've written in the browser and also in the terminal in the like Node interactive. And this is the way that like most programming will work. You need to write it down in a script, then you need to run somewhere. So let us open the index.html file. You can like click on it and go open containing folder in Visual Studio Code and double click on index.html. So when you double click on index.html, you will actually open this page here. This is like a demo HTML page that will run our JavaScript in there. So you can see it like in the URL bar. There is something that says file here. So this is a local file that's running through on our local PC. So more questions about make dir. You can create a new folder in your like normal UI way. So you left click in some folder on your desktop and create a new folder. So yeah. So on this page, the JavaScript basic page, we can like click like inspect and open the console again. So tab here, console, and we can run everything the same as we run on the DuckDuckGo page or google.com page, or so you can run it here, everything like that. But again, if we run like F5, we lose all our progress here. So the way that you can like use this script.js file here in your index HTML file is to go to your index.html file and write here something like, I will explain it in depth in the next lecture, but just go with me. So you can write script source src script.js and like close the tag here. Or like this. I will paste it in the chat so everybody can copy it. If we like paste this in our HTML, when we press F, when we refresh the page in JavaScript basics, actually like hello will be written here. Let's see our script. It says console hello. So you can see here on this part of your screen, it says script.js :1. So this is like this hello comes for the script.js file that's in our project. So in this way, like writing a tag in our HTML, we can include our JavaScript scripts in here. And now we can change like here anything like hello everyone. If we go back to our page, refresh the page, you can see that everything like our console log has changed, and now it says hello everyone. So whatever we like, right, we can like create a new line here, and we can place console log like this is David speaking, and we refresh the page, we'll have 2 lines written from our script. So in this way, in the front-end programming, all JavaScript files are included into the HTML and run on your web on any website. So if you go a little bit around on, I don't know, let's say the CNN or google.com, you can see that there is a lot of JavaScript like running in the background. So just you know, there is a lot of JavaScript written in front end, and there is a lot less HTML written every day. So with this, so we can take like I can take questions now, and I will answer them. Also, there will be like a 10 minutes pause just to get so that everybody gets on the speed with the program. And yeah, I'll be here answering questions. If you want to run to the bathroom or something like that, you are free to move there. So let me just get back my camera. So somebody asked me about coding games. I'm not really game developer, so I don't know the best way to like create games or and put it in Google App Store or put it in like on any other store there. So okay, so Philip is having some difficulties with opening the source code in Visual Studio. So if you can't unzip it, so you so if you can't unzip it, just go with a git clone command, and it will get like not zipped on your. Try running this command in command prompt. In any folder, you can put it in desktop or like anywhere you want that. So what distro I'm running? So for all the beginners, like Linux distros are different builds of Linux. I'm using Pop! OS. It's not like the best distro out there, but it's simplest to use. It's built on Ubuntu. If I will link it in the chat. So, is everybody up to speed, or is there some more problems with the project? So, if you want to write video games, like the easiest way to go in there is probably Unity, and you can write the code in C# and JavaScript there. I don't know that much of game development, so I'm not really the best person to ask that question. I can if you're on Slack, you can like post me a direct message there, and I can get you in touch with somebody that like develops video games like professionally. Or so another question about my distro, Linux distro. Yes, so Pop! OS is great. It's great because the build comes with all the drivers for your graphical card. So that's a great thing with it. So as I'm using some video editor software, and I'm using like DSLR camera to capture the video at the moment, it's really great. It works. Everything works like out of the box. So it's a little bit bloated because Ubuntu is bloated, but yeah, we can talk that in like a bit more later. So any questions about the project? We'll repeat this again in our exercise, and we'll use like VS Code or any IDE like a lot. So if you have any questions, you can also ask me in Slack like privately, and we can have like a quick exchange, or I can help you to set up everything on your PC if there's some problems there. So most developers use Linux while developing, except like C# developers that prefer Windows, because like C# is Microsoft. It's relatively proprietary language there. So most of JavaScript developers like use Linux if they're doing backend, or Mac OS if they're using frontend. For some reason, front-end developers really like the bling that Mac brings. So if there are some problems still with Git, or you haven't installed Git on your PC, you can actually download zip here, and then you can open that zip and you will have all the files there are in our projects here. The problem with this is that in the future we'll use Git to get all the changes that I've done on the project, so you will be every time up to speed in there. And in the future we'll have like a small Git tutorial and small Git lecture, so you will know how to use it properly. So Git is mostly used with like in teams of developers. So everybody can exchange the code easily and do every like conflicts in code. So if somebody writes something in code and the other person writes something different, they can use Git to fix the code and fix the conflicts in there. So there is not any more questions. So like in 5 minutes, I will start with the next part of the presentation and lecture that we were talking about a little bit of types and like basic statements in JavaScript. So be right back in 5 minutes. So if you have gotten here just now, we had a git cloned our repository, like run console logs in different like environments like browser and terminal. So Željka, there is a drop down here when you press the clone or download, and you can download the zip. So downloading the zip, you will get like similar results to git cloning it. But every time we change something in a repository, we'll need to get like here again and like download zip again, so we'll get the new code. We'll go through Git and Git, like how to work with Git in the future. So why I am insisting on Slack? Like most developer teams are using Slack to communicate. It's a really big thing in a development community. So if you are I really like if you can ask all your questions there, because all the questions will be there and in the future, and I can answer them like in writing also. So if it's everybody's here and like up to speed, I will go and talk a little bit about variables and statements in JavaScript and so on. So Željka, is everything okay? So, okay guys, let us go back to our IDE and start talking about variables. So variables are like the basics, like basic building blocks for your code. There you can like store like different like sentences in there or numbers or so on. Like let us try something. So in JavaScript, to write a variable down, you need to say var, like variable, like name, and use the parentheses here. So I created a new variable called name, and it has a value of David. So a little bit of this like ending semicolon here. So every line of JavaScript needs to end with a semicolon. You can like remove it, but I wouldn't like suggest. So it runs totally fine if you remove it. The point here why it's great to have a statement, to have end, because like every line that ends with the semicolon, it's called a statement in JavaScript. So this is like a declaration statement. It says I want to declare a new variable called name with the value David, and the semicolon says end it. There are some different issues you can run in if you are like missing the semicolon. So for sake of everybody, just use the semicolons. I can explain a little bit more in the future, like what's the issue with semicolons in JavaScript, but let's ignore it at this moment. So also I can like declare anything else here. I can press enter and then send variable age equals 30. So there is a variable called name and a variable called age. You can see that this number here is not in parentheses, because this is different type of variable, and we'll talk in the next part about that. You can also like write something like that. So you remember our console logs when we said hello world. We can like delete this and just say console log name. Let's try this out, what will happen here. So we can go to our JavaScript basic page that you have open in your Google Chrome and like refresh it. And look, we see here that on script.js, like 4th row, we have like console logged David. If we go back to code, you can see that here is written like console log name. So what console log does, it takes the value of the variable name and it prints it out. What else we can do with this is we can write something like this. So console log name and age. If we write it like this and go back to our HTML, we can see there is a David and 30. So what happened here, like console log took the value of the name and value of the age and printed out in our browser. So there are some different way also you can declare your variables, and like two other ways like is to not use the variable but using let. So let's say surname is Abram, and we can change like the variable here in const. So in modern JavaScript, you can see mostly the developers using let and const. So this const is like constant, and let is, I don't know why is let. Somebody decided to be let. So this is not really constant if you're a developer from like C or C#. This is actually a variable also, and let is also variable. There are some different things that happens if you say age, if you say constant, or if you're using let. We'll go that in the details like in the future. I will demonstrate now with const what's the biggest issue here. So if we want to change like a value, we assign some other value on our variable, we can write it like this. So we can say name equal to Ivo, or let's say John, and surname equals to Smith. So what will happen now if we print out name and surname, John Smith will be printed out. So what we did here is we assigned another value to variable name that's declared here. We assigned it name John. It's not the value of the name is not David anymore, it's John now. So what you can do here, you can maybe write it like this. So you have two variables name defined, but this will cause a lot of problems. There is no need to declare the same variable twice. Even JavaScript will let you to do this. So the issue with const way of declaring our variables is this, that when we try to, when we change age of value, if we try to assign another value on with our const variable and try to run it in the browser, we will get an error. So this is our first error, and it says assignment to constant variable. So you can assign value to constant variable only when you're declaring the constant variable, and you can't change the const value at all. So this will not work in this example. So we can say age, and we'll get John Smith age 30. Okay, so there are some good ways we can use const. At the moment, we will use like var the declaration, and we will not use the let and const. I will explain let. So let is a super special blocked scoped variable, and we will talk when we go in the for loops, and when we got like in if else, we will talk a lot more about this let thing. So you can declare like anything here, and you can console log it, and you can get a different value here. You can have like a whole sentences here. So you can say like a variable sentence equals to hello, my name is David. And when we go to our browser and try to run it, we go, hello, my name is David, then John Smith 30. Because hello, my name is David, then value of name, then value of surname, and value of age. So the thing where we're declaring our variables, we can use that variable to reassign the value, or to use that value anywhere else in our code. So that's really important for why we are why we need to declare things. So if you so also I will write down more code here, but I will comment this code. So if you want to comment the code so it won't run but will still stay in your script, you can use like double slashes here, or you can use the slash, then the star sign, and star sign. So here the code will run. This will run, but this won't run here. So I will comment out the code that I'm not using. So we can see only the code that's written like before or after the comment scope. So we can test it here. Okay, this will run, but this part won't run here. What you can do, you can like just delete everything, and then in future I will like update with everything that I've written here, like the repository, and send you the message that everything is updated, that you can download the code. So yeah, so just a quick like so the variables can be declared with var, let, and const. We'll use var, so we can declare anything and then console log the value of that variable. So you've seen that we were using like different way of writing when we write a string or a sentence, and when we're using the number there. So in JavaScript there are different types of variables. So quick reminder here, there are like 7 of them. We will go through like strings. We already written like strings, and we already written numbers in there. We'll go through Boolean, and then some really funky null and defines that I'll explain, and then symbol and objects. You can forget symbols for now. They're pretty new and used only in some it's some like advanced code, let's say it like that. Let's go through like string then number, and so on, so we can see like what's going on with that. So yeah, I removed that code there. Okay, let's start with string. So as you've seen before, so yeah, again, in like 15 minutes, I will stop and like get all your questions, so we can go a little bit again through code and you can ask me anything. So let's try to again say my name is David. So you can see that I have used the single parenthesis here to define a string. If you're coming from some other language, you will go, why you're using single parentheses? You need to use double parentheses for writing strings. And in JavaScript, you can use it both ways. There is no really like any downside of using the single parenthesis or double parenthesis. It's all on the preference. Also in JavaScript, you can use the backtick. So all these three ways of assignment of like David string to the name variable is totally the same. So this backticks in like creation a keyboard, it's when you press Alt, GR, and 7, if I remember, yeah. And in US, I'm using keyboard, I don't know by heart really. So yeah, you can write everything like this. So why would you need to use like single parentheses or double parentheses or backtick sometimes? Okay, let's go through this. What if I want to say like something like that, this? If I want to say, I'm so fancy. If I want to say something like that, write something like that, or assign to a variable, I can say like song name is I'm so fancy. And you can see if you're using IDE like VS Code or something something similar, that something is not right here. Like first, all our string values are yellow here, and this is like white in part and yellow in here, and also there's some red squiggly lines. So the problem is like our JavaScript thinks that this is the string and this is just some random garbage after it. So if you want to use like to write like single parentheses inside of the string, you can use like double parentheses around it. So in this example, you can use double parentheses and single parentheses there. So I'm so fancy. Let's try to print it out. So if you go to the browser and refresh, yeah, it writes down perfectly. But what if we want to say fancy with double parentheses, like I'm so fancy here? So we can go back to single parentheses. We can go to double parentheses because we're using single parentheses and double parentheses there. So we can use backticks like we use like in this third example, or we can use something like this in here. So we can use the backslash. So backslash in creation keyboards are Alt, GR, and Q. So when you use backslash before some letter or character in your string, it says to JavaScript, this is like literal double parenthesis. This is not controlled double parenthesis that we're using for string in here. So if we try to like print that out, let's try and see it. Okay, there you have it. I'm so fancy with single parentheses here and double parentheses here. Okay, so that's pretty cool. But like, what if we want to write like 3 or 4 lines of text here? let's try that. So if we want to say lyrics, I will copy paste it because I don't know it by heart. But if you want to try, like, say, first problem that we got here is that you need to have double parentheses if we want to repeat this, and then press enter, and there's a lot of problems, like a lot of red things, and there is like I is again white, and there's so strings are yellow in our VS Code. So to fix that, we can use backticks. So if you use backticks, that will JavaScript will think that there is a like multi-line somewhere, and so you can write like multi-line whole passages using the backticks. If you try console log the lyrics, let's try it. Oh, there are like 2 lines here. So whenever you want to have multi-line strings, you need to use backticks for it. Okay, but what if we want to do something like this, like use our variable from up here, name, and say like we want to say hello and then name in here. We can write it like this. So it will say hello David. Or we can like take the value of the name variable and like concatenate it to the hello. So you can use it something like this, like with plus, like hello plus name. And what will happen here, it will print out hello David, but without the space that's really needed. So what we can do here is like put space here, and then it will say hello David. But we also want to say like hello David with a exclamation point. So what will we do here is, let's say plus exclamation point and some and some space. So when we refresh, it's a hello David, and there is space, and then is exclamation point. Or we can remove the space and we'll get something like this. But if you have like multiple variables in here, and we want to say like hello name, and then surname of a person, so something like this will become tedious really fast. So you need the surname here, then plus, then between the name and surname you will need another space. Okay, let's try it out like this. So we have hello with space plus name plus empty parentheses, there's a space in there, then plus surname, then plus exclamation point. So if we try to run this, we'll get hello David Abram and exclamation point. This is really tedious. If you have like more variables, you will need to like take plus between every variable and then put space in there and so on. There is much simpler way to do it in JavaScript. It's called string interpolation, and it's really easy. It just looks like it looks a bit difficult, but you will use it in no time. So the same thing that I can write here, I can write in backticks. So in backticks, I can write hello space, and then when I want to use some variable here, I can write the $sign. That in Croatian Hebrews, that's shift and shift and 4, and then use this kind of so it's alt gr and what's that, VNN, yeah. So yeah, so something like this, and you can say hello name then space, again surname, and then question mark, exclamation point, sorry. And when you reload the page, you will get the same output. But this way of writing is much easier than like using the pluses and doing all again. So I will, for everybody that still can't write this, I will paste it in the chat. So yeah, if you have any questions, just write it down. I will go through it in the end. So that's pretty cool. So you can write it like this. And that's about it about strings. So we went through the concatenation of strings. So you can write, use multiple strings, like just with pluses, or with this console log. With this backtick way of writing, you can use like multi-line, and you can use the single parenthesis, double parenthesis in strings without any problem. So, and this is string. So what's next? So we used string, and I will just comment everything. You don't need to. You can just continue to write. So we have also used the number. So here. So in JavaScript, like it's not really similar to the other languages. There is only one type of numbers, and that's number. If you have ever written something in C or C# or Java, there is integers and doubles and so on and so on. In JavaScript, there is only numbers. So yeah, it's much simpler than in other languages. So when you have like, I write var age, but I will write like two different like const numbers. See, we're using consts. Let's say A is 2 and B is 3. So let's try it to... okay, so if you are a question from Philip, if you have opened, like inspected your website and it opens on console, you can just refresh your site, and everything you write in script.js is there. You need to add in index.html this like this tag. I will explain what the tag means in future lectures. So no, don't worry. Just paste it there. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's back to the script. So let's try and console log some different operations. So everybody knows like basic math. So there is something that's called addition. If we console log a plus b, we need to get 5. So that's pretty straightforward. Like console log a plus b, it will happen. The console log will get the value of a, the value of b, and it will print their sum. Also, what we can do is just add 15, and then it should be 20. Yeah, you can write like a normal equation that you write in your like math classes here. Let's try some difference out. Let's say console log a times b. So it should be like 20 and 6. Yeah. So what happened here? We multiplied a times b, and it's 6. What also we can do, we can define a new variable called c, and we can multiply a and b and assign the value of multiplication of a and b to the c. What will happen here, So we can console log the C. This statement here will take the value of A, that's 2, and the value of B, that's 3, and multiply it and save it into variable C. So if we run this, we will actually get, again, 20 from the addition part, and 6 we will from C. We get from C. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. So we can do different also, like console log A, I can say, okay, A minus B. We also can have like console log A divided by B. So let's try remove this, and let's try to console log everything here. So yeah, you can see like addition is 5, multiplication is 6, like so this -1, and here we have the division that's like goes to infinity in 6. So JavaScript can't like really handle infinity that well, so there is not infinitive like 6s here, there is a finite number. So JavaScript is sometimes a little bit sketchy with like with addition and division, and it's really strange what can happen here. If you like write down some numbers like 0.1 plus 0.2, we will get a really strange like result here. So these are problems in the way that JavaScript handles numbers and saves numbers in your memory on your PC, and there can be a lot of issues with that. If you're like writing something that's that uses like currency or something, there's a way to go around this. Yeah, like Yera said, you can press F5 on your keyboard to refresh the site. There are some strange things in JavaScript, like you can also like see the strangeness if we say like, let's try add David plus 10. So this shouldn't work in any programming language, but in JavaScript, because it has some special features. When you refresh, it will say David 10, and this will be written like a string. So this is some things that you need to think about when you concatenate different strings. If some of those strings is not really a string but a number, the variable is not a really string but a number, you will get like silly results. Also, if you try to say like string 10 plus 10, you will get some silly result. You will get 1010. It doesn't like understand when you try to add stuff. It doesn't understand that both of those are numbers really, not a string and a number. But when you would try to like subtract the number, you will get 0, and it's a number. So be really careful when you add numbers variables together, because JavaScript sometimes thinks it's a concatenation of strings and sometimes it's addition of numbers. So try to take care of your variables and what types are those variables. So some other things in when you want to do some like advanced math, let's say you want to round a number. So we had an a divided by b, and it's like 0.666 and so on. If you want to round that number, you can use like the math.round, and you can write something like this. And what will happen, it will round to nearest number. So 2 divided by 3 is 0.666, and that's rounded to 1. If we want like rounded to to the number like to smaller number, you can use mat.floor. There are a lot of like different like ways of using like the mat part in JavaScript. We will go into more when we talk about the functions, because this is a function. So similar to like console log, there is like functions that you can do like some mat stuff. If you want to use like one of the cool part in mat, that is the random function, and what will happen, it will like just print a random number between 0 and 1. So that's a cool part. We'll go in the deep with that. So you will have like, I don't know, creating numbers between 1 and 10 and not just 0 and 1 and so on. So there is a cool stuff you can do with this. So okay, let's go to the other types. Let's go a little bit in, so a little bit more of number. I forgot almost this. So when you want to like write, when you want to do exponent, so let's say variable c is 2, like 10 to the power of 2. You use it like double star notation. So when you need to console log c, we can go fast back to our browser and F5, and you can have 100. So 10 to the power of 2 is 100. If you write really a large number here, let's say 1000, so it's 10 to the power of 1000. I don't know so that's like 1000 zeros in there. JavaScript really can handle that large numbers, and when you create like arbitrarily large number and press F5, it will say infinity. So yeah, so it will say infinity there, and infinity is really a number. So what you can do here is you can say infinity. Var c is infinity. Also there is a negative infinity in JavaScript. But when you try to like do some nonsense, like let's say David divided by 5, David divided by 5, and try to run that, it will say NaN, like not a number. So the funniest thing about with not a number, that not a number is really a number. So if you can base it like this and declare, I want a number that's not a number, because that's a funny value, not a number, and it's declared and assigned to variable number there. So these are some special like edge cases in JavaScript and in the numbers in there, with numbers in there. So yeah, beware of like not a number and infinity values in there. So yeah, that's all about numbers. Whoop. Oh man. Okay. I moved a bit and I lost, where is my keyboard? Okay. So we went through numbers and went through strings. Let's talk a little bit about objects. So for anything like more complex to be stored in a variable, you will need like something that's called objects, and you can write it like this. So let's try to go back to the var name is David, and variable surname is, and age is 30. So the problem here is when we want another person to define name, we already use that variable here. So if you want to do something more complex, you can write it like this. So const person, so you just open it like this and write name colon David, then surname Abram, and then age is 30. So I will paste this in the chat so everybody can copy this. So the type of the variable person, now it will be object, and we can like really test this. We will try to console log it. So let's try to console log person and see what happens in our, yeah, that's right. So you can see here it's a little bit different than when we were printing out like strings and numbers. So you can like open it and it will say like there is name David, surname Abram, and age 30. So how can you like print on the like the name of person? So you can say person dot name, and let's see. Okay, it writes down David. So Tripimir is asking like this works like class or structure. Yeah, similar like that in JavaScript. Like every type that isn't basic type, it's really object. So yeah, this is like our like, okay, we have about 10 minutes to the end of class, of a lecture. So you can ask me any questions here. We are still missing some null undefined like boolean and if else. So we will take a little bit time from next lecture and go in depth with these types of variables. If there is any question, like just shoot out in YouTube chat or in Slack. So let's try like a little bit more here to play with our objects. So let's person surname. If you try to see, yeah, it's like David Abram. So yeah, and also if you want to like change the name of the person, or yeah, but you can use it like this. Say person dot name equals John, and let's see what will happen. I can't forget this. So what will happen? It's a John Abram. So if we paste the whole person object, you can see that the name value has changed to John. So yeah, it works if you are a C# developer or Java developer. Yeah, it's simply similar to classes and structures. If you have used that. So let me get my camera back up and working. So yeah. So any questions, guys? So does this seems like hard to you or easy? Let me really know so I can know how to, should I go slower or faster in there. So for most people that know some programming or know programming in some other language, this is pretty easy. For people who are starting to program, it can be hard. So don't like take it really personal. It's really hard to get into programming. If you need any help to completing this, I will be in Slack. You can get me there. So yeah. This is quite easy for guys who know programming. So this will seem really easy, but in the future we will go to some concepts like the DOM that is not like accessible from any other language than JavaScript. Like It can be, but it's really okay. But we can discuss that in the future. But there's some concept that's oh, okay. There are concepts that are really like JavaScript only. So we can have another person, yeah. So we can say var person person2, and say name is John, surname is, if not Abram, it's Smith, and age is 35. And then what you can do is print person and person2, and let's try see what will happen here. Okay, these are two different objects. One has name David and surname Abram. So these things like inside of objects are called properties, like property name has value David, property surname has value Abram, and property age is 30. Any other person too, their property name, and there is John value, surname is Smith, and the age is 35. And also you can assign something like this. So let's say that I want that the first person, the person variable has a property name set to John, or the value of the property name in person2, we can write it something like this. Person name, it's person2.name. Oops, sorry. So let's try to refresh our site. So there is now name John, surname Abram, and name John and surname Smith, different objects there. But we can also do something like this. So person equals the person2. So what will happen here, there we will have same two objects in there. So Tepemir asks a question. So you can create default structures objects like person, which includes name, surname, and age. So there are a way to define class in JavaScript, but you can write like ad hoc objects like this. So ad hoc objects like you see here in like C# it will be called like, I don't know, like I'm not even sure how they're called, but in JavaScript these kind of objects are like first class citizens here. Yeah, so Tepemir is right. You can like say like person2 that name equals to David, and now what will happen, we'll have like two different objects like called David Smith with age 35. You can play around it and see how really like the value is assigned in here. It comes really with practice, like to understand like how assignment works really in JavaScript. It's a little bit tricky for the people who like know to program in C# or C, because it's a little bit different. We'll go in depth with when we will talk about if else, how you can like how like how can you compare different objects and different like basic types and so on. Yeah, in the future we will talk about classes and how to define class and how can initialize classes and how to create. But like you must understand that in JavaScript everything that does it's not a basic type, it's an object. So also like classes will be objects. It's really confusing for the people who come from the object-oriented languages like C# and Java. It can be confusing. But for people who like this is a first programming language, this will be like total normal stuff. Then when they will learn like some other programming languages, they will need to learn some like stuff like stuff in here. But it's not real difficult. So guys, any other questions? If you have any questions, like in the future, you can get me on Slack channel. I really like using Slack, like most of developers. So yeah, get used to Slack. That's what I'm saying. If you have any suggestions or any comments, you can leave them here or also contact me in Slack. So I will wait a little bit. Also, if you are wondering about all this stuff that I have written here, how to get to that, there is a way you can get like all the code that's updated for running. You can go to GitHub and go to the release, and there is like release version 1.0, and it says JavaScript basics. If you download this zip here, you will get all the code that I've written like while doing the presentation, building the presentation there. So if you came late, or if you like don't want to write code like in parallel with me, you can download everything here, even like before the lecture. So you just know. Okay, guys. If there is any more question, I will wait a few minutes. This was our first lecture, JavaScript Basics. I really want to keep these lectures like hour and a half long with one pause in the middle, so everybody can catch up and everybody can like get up to par with my programming or to ask me any questions and so on. This is really easy when there is only like 18 or 16 people in the chat and asking. If you want my attention, you can really post it in Slack. It will go like directly to my second screen, and I can see everything in there. If there is any additional questions, you can ask me in Slack, contact me, ask me any questions like gaming programming or about gaming programming and so on. I will answer like in best of my ability. Yeah, the next next lecture will be in 2 days on Thursday in the same time. If there is any problem with schedule or something like that, like let me know. But this lecture will be online on YouTube, like live stream, and maybe I will cut up some parts and post it like separately. So guys, have a nice evening, and if there's any other questions, don't hesitate to ask me there. Okay guys, see ya.